Hello and welcome everyone. As promised, today we will be talking on element 5, what we are studying, that is on industrial hygiene and occupational health, and the most awaited topic, and that is statutory provisions related to industrial hygiene. So we'll be discussing on what are the legal requirements, what is the where it is written, what is written. So it is all about statutory provisions related to industrial hygiene. So this I simply wanted to give you all the information related to it. So this video is all about it. But as the entire week is of celebration, so from my side, my heart is wishes to everyone, and let us move forward to the video. Basically, what we are going to cover in statutory provisions related to industrial hygiene. Now, whenever we talk of any legal requirements, so what is the standard that we refer? National standards, right? So let us start with that. In this element, industrial hygiene and occupational health, the Factories Act 1948. So what does it say related to the provisions related to industrial hygiene? So in section 13, ventilation and temperature, what does it say? Let us try and understand in brief. Effectiveness of a suitable provision shall be made in every factory for securing and maintaining in every workroom a adequate ventilation by circulation of fresh air, and b such a temperature as will secure to workers therein reasonable condition for comfort and prevent injury to health. And in particular, first, wall and roofs shall be of such material and so designed that such temperature shall not be exceeded but kept as low as practicable. Second part is where the nature of work carried on in the factory involves or is likely to involve the production of excessively high temperatures, such adequate measures are measures as are practicable shall be taken to protect the workers. So there are two parts to it. First, you have to provide proper ventilation. The roof and it should be such that it bears the heat. If internal process is there, then you need to make sure that the worker is being protected. So the state government may prescribe a standard of adequate ventilation and reasonable temperature for any factory or class, description of factories or parts thereof, to direct the proper measuring instrument such placed and in such position as may be specified shall be provided and shall record as they may be prescribed such and shall be maintained as well. So basically, so what does the state provisions do? The state governments, they apply their own rules saying that okay, you have a high temperature area, you have ventilation issues, so where the meters are to be kept, you have to decide and you have to describe the area that okay, this is the area of high heat where we are measuring this and we are maintaining the records. That's all. So it's a very clear cut and a simple condition, but ventilation and temperature plays an important role when it comes to the overall performance of an individual. So you have to always make sure that ventilation and temperature are in control and are suitable to the working conditions. So person should be having a suitable working condition to work. Correct. Now, what does section 14 says about dust and fumes? So in every factory in which by reasons of manufacturing process carried on there is given of any dust or fumes or other impurities of such a nature and to such an extent as is likely to be injurious or offensive to the workers employed therein, or any dust in the substantial quantities, effective measures shall be taken to prevent its inhalation and accumulation in any workroom and if any exhaust application is necessary for this purpose, it shall be applied as near as possible to the point of origin of the dust, fumes or other impurity, and such point shall be enclosed so far as possible. Second point is, in any factory, no statutory internal combustion engine shall be operated unless the exhaust is conducted in the open air, and no other internal combustion engine shall be operated in the same room unless effective measures have been taken to prevent such accumulation of fumes therefrom as are likely to be injurious to workers employed in the room. So section 14 clearly states that every room, wherever there are possibilities of from any process that there can be a generation of fume, so you have to make sure the exhaust provisions are available. Secondly, if you are going to test any internal combustion engine or any combustible system where the combustion happens, so in that case it should be properly enclosed and the exhaust provisions should be available. It is very simple. See, whenever you are trying to make whenever any activity is happening wherein there are chances of generating dust and fumes, it is obvious that we must protect it and we must make sure that exhaust provisions are made available. Now coming to section 15, that is artificial humidification. So what is artificial humidification? That means the area should be moist. In respect of all factories in which humidity of the air artificially increases, the state government make rules, says, prescribing standards for humidification, regulating the methods used for artificially increasing the humidity of the air, directly prescribed tests for determining the humidity of the air to be correctly carried out and recorded, prescribing methods to be adopted to securing adequate ventilation and cooling of the air in the work rooms. At least one qualified nurse should be there, wherever possible. So we have to make sure what provisions are actually required. Why? Because if when we are talking about artificial humidification, so what is happening there? We must know that if the humidity is increasing, then there are chances of a lot of people having a lot of illnesses, ill effects. Why? If humidity increases, we'll get a lot of sweaty. Correct. So in any factory in which the humidity of the air is artificially increased, the water used for the purpose shall be taken from public supply or other source of drinking water, or shall be effectively purified before it is so used. If it's appearance to an inspector that the water used in the factory is increasing humidity in the required to be effectively purified under section 2, is not effectively purified, he may serve on the manager of the factory the order in writing specifying the measures which in his opinion should be adopted and requiring them to be carried out before specific date. So what happens if the inspector finds out that the factory inspector finds out that no, your provisions, the water that you're using is not properly purified. So these are the measures that the prescribed methods can be given to you, and you have to make sure and comply by it. Now coming to section 17, and that is lighting. So in every part of the factory where workers are working or passing shall be provided and maintain sufficient and suitable lighting and natural or artificial or both. In every factory, all glazed windows and skylights used for the lighting of the workroom shall be kept clean on both inner and outer surface, and so far as compliance with the provision of any rules made under section 3 and section 13 will allow free from obstruction. So you have to make sure that it is clean from inside and outside both, and any rules made under subsection 3 of section 17. Inside section 17, it is subsection 3 and of section 13 will allow. So free from obstruction it should be there. Now in every factory, effective provisions shall, so far as practicable, be made for the prevention of glares either directly from the source of light or by reflection from a smooth surface of polishing surfaces. So the formation of shadows as such, and to an extent as to cause eye strain or the risk of accident to any other worker should also be avoided. In the state government may prescribe standards of sufficient and suitable lighting for the factory for any class of description factories or for any manufacturing process. Now here we will be discussing typically on the lighting aspect, so internal lighting. So let us understand what say some state government act says, because mostly it's been adopted now. So let us see what does it say. So as per schedule A of the Maharashtra State Rule 1963, it says the stockyard, the main entrance and exit roads or catwalks or outdoor plants, coal unloading and storage areas should have a minimum intensity of illumination in to be around 20 lux or so. Now passageways and corridors and stairways, warehouses, stock rooms, large and bulky material platforms and outdoor platform basements, these require 50 intensity of 50 lux of illumination. Now engine and boiler room, passengers and freight elevator boxing department, storage rooms and stock rooms for medium and fine material, locker rooms, toilets and washrooms are prescribed to have 100 illumination level of 100 lux. Now this is part schedule A. This is written in schedule A. So this is what is given in schedule A. Now there is another schedule that is given, and that is schedule B. The same Maharashtra state rule. What does it say? It describes based on nature of work. So schedule A is about area of work and schedule B is about nature of work. Now when we talk of nature of work, where discrimination of detail is not essential, that is handling of material, of course, natural or rough, sorting, grinding, clay products, handling of coal and ashes. So there the illumination level is required to be around 50. That is fine. Now when it comes to where slightly discrimination details is essential, that is production of semi-finished iron or steel products, rough assembly or minings, and grains of opening, drawing anything, and then spinning, all these areas. So wherever counts of cotton, then normal production areas. So where a slight discrimination, that means slightly you need some amount of light, some visibility is required more. So more amount of visibility is required. So there 100 illumination is described. Now where moderate discrimination or details are required, where you need to observe something, right? So where medium assembly or rough bench work or inspection or testing, where you need to observe. So wherever you need to observe something, so you require around 200 illumination. So where close discrimination of details are essential, so where medium bench and machine work, that is 300 fine testing floors, grinding, then lathe finishing, weaving, where detailing work is required to be done, there you require 300 illumination. Now where under fair degree of contrast you require absolute visibility, so there fine benches and machine works where fine polishing work is happening, so you need to observe whether it is properly finished, where there are any marks or not. So there the illumination level is required to be around 500. Now where discrimination of extremely fine detailings are required, so there the illumination level is not defined, but you can definitely, you need proper visibility there. So extra fine assembly, extra fine inspection, those are called inspection tables, kind of arrangements. So there, you require higher illumination. So this is basically defined on two categories, what we described in Schedule A and Schedule B, and that is about nature of work. So where, now you need to just keep in mind that where, you don't need any visible things to happen. Okay, blindly you can just put it and take it. No visibility, not much of the visibility required, 50 lux. Then coming to where, slightly some amount of, where you need to see where you are going, what you're doing. So there 100 lux. If you require, medium level, where, you have to observe that, oh no, whether this is happening correctly or not. So there 200 lux. Where you are going for testing phase, so there 300. Where you are going for extremely reading and, fine, you have to see there 500 lux and above. So correct, this is all about the lighting or the illumination part. Now coming to the next session, that is on Factories Act again. But what are the precautions against dangerous fumes? So now we will be talking on the precaution front. So what does the precaution say? So section 36, now from here all the precautions starts. Section 36, precaution against dangerous fumes and gases. So what does it say? First, no person shall be required or allowed to enter any chamber, tank, vat, pit, pipe, funnel or other confined spaces in any factory which, any gas, fumes, vapor or dust is likely to be present to such an extent as to involve risk to person being overcome thereby, unless it is provided with a manhole of adequate size or other effective means of egress. So here the word comes in the standard, and that is called egress. That means the access should be there. Correct. So there should be provision that if a person enters, he can come out at least. Correct. So no, and the second point is, no person shall be required or allowed to enter any confined space as is referred to in subsection 1 until all practicable measures have been taken to remove any gas, fume, vapor or dust which may be present so as to bring its level within the permissible limits and to prevent any ingress of such gas, fumes, vapor and dust, and unless a certificate of in writing has been given by a competent person based on a test carried out by himself that the space is reasonably free from dangerous gases, fumes, vapors and dust, etc. Correct. Such person is wearing suitable, B part is, such person has to wear a suitable breathing apparatus and a belt securely attached to a rope, the free end which is held by a person outside the confined space. So what is mandatory as per section 36? First, you need to monitor or measure the internal, what's the condition, what is the gas levels present inside, and along with it there should be a provision of a rope that you should be, and that rope should be held by the person who is standing outside the vessel. Correct. So you should be at least able to pull. Correct. Now coming to precaution 36A, and that says precaution regarding the use of a portable electric light. In any factory, no portable electric light or any other electric appliance of voltage exceeding 24 volts shall be permitted for use inside chamber, tank, vat, pit, pipe, fume, or in any confined space unless adequate safety device are provided, that is whether it is intrinsically safe, right? In any inflammable gas, fumes or dust is likely to be present in such chamber, tank, vat, pit or other confined space, no lamp light other than that of flame-proof construction shall be permitted to the use therein. This is so if you want to see where it is prescribed that you need an intrinsically safe light. So it is under section 36A prescribed regarding the portable electric lighting. Now coming to section 37, and that is on explosive or inflammable dust and gas, etc. So where in any factory, any manufacturing process produces dust, fumes, gas or vapors, such characters and such extents to be likely to be exposed to ignition, all practicable measures shall be taken to prevent any such explosion by a effective enclosure of the plant or machinery used in the process, removal or prevention of accumulation of such dust, gas, fumes and vapors, exclusion of or effectiveness enclosures of all possible source of ignition. So there are 3 points to it. So how we prevent the explosive inflammable dust area, how we prevent the explosion. So we have to make sure that the plant machinery is completely enclosed. You have removed, we have removed by external means by exhausting it out the dust or gas fumes present inside the area, and finally it is enclosed properly. What is enclosed? The ignition sources where the spark can happen, those are enclosed properly. So these are the 3 ways how we can prevent the explosive to happen. Now, where in any factory the plant or machinery used in the process such as in is referred to in subsection 1, that is what we discussed, is not so constructed as to withstand the probable pressure which such an explosion or effort would produce, all practicable measures shall be taken to restrict the spread the effect of the explosion by provision in plant or machinery of chokes, baffle vents and other effective appliances. So where we cannot put it, so there what we have to do, we have to provide the baffle so that it is exhausted out. So these are very easy means. Now where any part of the plant or machinery in the factory contains any explosive or inflammable gases or vapors under pressure greater than the atmospheric pressure, that part shall not be opened except in accordance with the following provisions, namely A. Before the fastening of any joint or any pipe connected with the part of the fastening to be cover or any opening into the part is the cover of any opening into the part of is loosened. Any flow of gas or vapor into the part of any such pipeline shall be effectively stopped, and stop valve or other means are to be installed. Now before any such fastening as foresaid is removed, or all practicable measures shall be taken to reduce the pressure of the gas or vapor in the part of the pipeline to atmospheric pressure levels. Where any such fastening or affordable has been loosened or removed, effective measures shall be taken to prevent any explosive or inflammable gases and vapors from entering the parts of pipe until the fastening has been secured, or as the case may be, to securely replace. So this comes under section 37. Now I hope this video is actually going very long, and I need to really justify the this statutory provisions. So we will have next video on the same statutory provision, where we will be covering provisions related to Occupational Health and Safety in Factories Act 1948, where we'll be discussing on section B, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20, where all the list of provisions are given. And we will also be covering how much weight a person should lift, what are the first aid measures, so all this, and what does the legal requirements about a medical examination of workers, your occupational health center. We'll be discussing on which type of chemicals, where it's written, what are the specification, what are the permissible exposure levels. So we'll be discussing this in the next video, where we'll be taking a lot of detailing on the final provisions, that is emergency standards, permissible limit and exposures. So that will in the next video of statutory requirements. So hope if you have liked the video by now, you have hit the like button, you have subscribed us, if and subscription is very important for us. So keep on subscribing, keep on liking. We'll try our best to be connected and provide you with more informative videos of such. Thank you very much, friends. We'll connect soon.